What's up guys, today we are going to take a look at the Honor 5X. Just in case you aren't familiar with Honor, they are actually produced by Huawei, who are the Chinese manufacturer probably most well known for creating the awesome Nexus 6P. So maybe you're wondering why two names and not just stick with Huawei. Well, it's pretty simple, Honor is just the more consumer focused brand name. So Honor have released a few devices over the last year and they have certainly all been very well received. Will the 5X continue this trend? Let's jump in and find out. So let's start with the specs. The Honor 5X is rocking a 5.5 inch 1080p IPS panel with a PPI of 401, a Snapdragon 615 octa-core processor, Adreno 405 GPU, 2GB of RAM, a 13 megapixel rear and 5 megapixel front facing camera, 16GB of onboard storage, which is expandable via microSD up to 128GB, a generous 3000 mAh battery, and it's running on Android 5.1 Lollipop with Honor's EMUI 3.1 overlay. So starting with the build quality. The 5X arrives with a very premium brushed aluminium build that looks pretty similar to what we have seen on the HTC One range. We have the silver variant here, but it is also available in gold and gunmetal grey just in case you prefer those. In the hand it feels pretty solid, although I did find it to be a little slippery, but this is a flaw nearly all shiny metal devices will have. One thing I'm not sure about is the dimpled plastic antenna covers, as they don't seem to fit the design theme well. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. Overall, the build quality is pretty solid and definitely takes cues from HTC and Apple, which isn't a bad thing as Honor have definitely put their own spin on it, and in this price bracket, the design is certainly worth its weight in gold. The 1080p IPS panel looks really nice, the colours are vibrant while not appearing oversaturated, and it's also pretty sharp. When viewing darker content, you may find that the backlight shines through a little, but it's not terribly noticeable. There is also a black bezel that runs around the panel, and this is something some users may find unattractive, but the white front definitely makes it more noticeable. The display can get super bright, so viewing outdoors is no trouble at all, and the viewing angles are great. Overall, it's definitely a nice panel that most users will not be disappointed with, and consuming content like YouTube videos is definitely pleasing. So let's take a little tour around the 5X. On the front we have the earpiece, sensors, LED notification light and 5 megapixel front facing camera. On the rear we have the flash, 13 megapixel rear shooter and also the fingerprint sensor. On the left hand side you will find the dual SIM trays and micro SD card slot. And on the right is your volume rocker and textured power button. Up top you will find the noise cancelling microphone and 3.5mm headphone jack, and lastly on the bottom we have our micro USB port, speaker and microphone. Notice that I said speaker as we do not have dual sound system here, all we have is the one speaker which we'll find located under the right hand grille. It doesn't sound too terrible at all unless you crank it up to high volumes where it will begin to sound a little tinny. Now let's talk briefly about that fingerprint sensor. It's very easy to set up and it's lightning fast. I mean, you simply tap this and it will unlock your device. It also has a few very awesome tricks it can perform, unlike anything I have ever seen. The 5X fingerprint sensor supports gestures, and my favourites are the swipe down and up to control the notification shade and the long press to go home. To me this is pretty intuitive and I definitely want to see other manufacturers getting on board with this, as it makes simple tasks that much easier. So onto the software. It looks like Honor has taken a lot of inspiration from iOS with its flat design and the apps with rounded edges, but it looks pretty pleasing to the eye in my opinion. Android purists may be a little disappointed and need not apply, as there is a lack of app drawer which makes customization somewhat limited. There are some built-in features that I do enjoy however, like the ability to theme your device, but again the options are limited and I would definitely like to see this expanded in the very near future. We also have some built-in apps like the phone manager that will allow you to speed up the device by closing apps not in use, clean up your storage, and also set up power saving modes. I'm also a big fan of the notification shade, as it is split into two parts, one for notifications and the other for quick toggles, and this allows more notifications to be displayed, and I think it just looks cleaner. The notification shade also has a timeline, letting you know exactly when you received a notification, so keeping up to date is very easy. The quick settings can also be easily customized and set up to your preferred layout, so that is a huge bonus. Overall, the software is not too terrible, but if you like organising your applications, you're pretty much stuck with folders. Let me know your thoughts on the software in the comments section. When it comes to performance, the Honor 5X performs reasonably well considering the hardware, but surprisingly not as well as other devices running the same configuration. I found animations to be choppy at times, as well as finding some delay in keyboard presses and the opening of apps, but I am pretty sure this is something that can be addressed in future updates, and Honor have already said that the 5X will definitely be receiving regular updates. Gaming performance is not too terrible either, with only the occasional stutter noticed when playing more intensive games, but it's certainly nothing to complain about. Overall, with a little software tweaking, I think Honor could have the device running very smooth. So now onto the camera. The application itself is pretty well laid out, and it has a fair amount of options and tweaks that you can go through, so no complaints there. When it comes to taking pictures, the rear shooter isn't the worst I have seen, but I would recommend using HDR mode and shooting outdoors. You can definitely get some nice shots in optimum conditions, but taking it into low light and you will start to see some noise creeping up in the background. The 5X can also shoot 1080p video if you toggle it on in settings, but I ran into several issues, mainly due to the lack of optical image stabilization and also the camera making rapid exposure adjustments, which made the overall experience a little dissatisfying. So when it comes to battery life, there is definitely nothing to worry about. The generous 3000 mAh battery was easily giving me over 4 hours of screen on time, so making it through a day on heavy usage will be no trouble at all. So time to wrap this up. I think we need to remember that this device retails for £157 in the UK and $200 in the US, so expectations should never be too high. Do I think it's worth the price point? I would say definitely this is a great buy. You get a premium metal body, a fingerprint scanner and a nice 1080p IPS panel, and with a few software updates I'm pretty sure the hiccups in the software will iron out. If you don't like the user interface, please remember that you can easily download another launcher in the Google App Store, and this will give it a more stock feel. Overall, I would say Honor have done a great job here and delivered a budget device that stands out from the crowd. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.